Couture.
I always loved film and costume. So I think that brought me into fashion.
Cooking.
Whenever you go into a friend's house and like before they're there early in the morning to like, it's my only voyeuristic thing is with kitchens. I like to like explore inside
And see what's going on.
everything.
Creativity.
When I'm building a gown and I'm on my mannequin, it's an orgasmic experience.
My guest is one of the most inspiring fashion designers in the world.
My ideas were very out there and I was like a little Soho downtown punk.
Today, Zac Posen puts it all on the table. Hi. Hi, Zac.
How are you?
Very nice to meet you.
What a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming to my kitchen, and I have prepared some tea for you. Maybe ginger and a bit of star anise and lemongrass will be a good start.
Absolutely.
So you drink tea during the day?
I drink tea in the day. I also drink coffee.
I have never cheered with tea.
Cheers.
I don't know if we're supposed to do
Well.
or not, but
Yeah, it's growing.
it's growing.
You can smell the...
I can smell the ginger. I have all the ingredients that you wanted for your dish.
Yes.
I mean, I was perplexed when I saw the recipe. It's very personal to you, right?
It's personal to me and to my life that I live every day. Well, the meal, is inspired by the need to find a nutritious, healthy meal that I could make fast, that I could make on the go. I work in Tribeca, and they opened a great Japanese supermarket near there.
That's why you have
So
all
I
those
started
ingredients
finding
from
those
Japan.
ingredients. I had to find ways at home to cook almost vegetarian meals.
Almost.
Yes.
Because we have uni. I mean, they are in the fridge right now.
Yeah, that's
but
uni and our tofu is our protein source.
I'm gonna let you lead,
Yeah.
and I will be helping you, obviously. And it was very Japanese in essence for me when I look at the ingredients. Shiso, uni, some rice. You grew up not too far from here, right?
I grew up just a block away from here on Spring Street
In Soho.
in Soho. My parents moved there in the early 70s. Being a New Yorker has influenced me hugely. I think within fashion, it is becoming and has become, as important as France. My dad's an artist.
He's a painter,
He's a
right?
painter, exactly. So half of this loft that I grew up in is studio. So I sort of grew up always watching the creative process
Of a painter.
of a painter and giving the privacy of an artist and learning
Yes.
that respect
Yes.
of process. My mom worked out of the home. So my dad, I guess, would be cooking after he painted for my sister and I and my mom.
And you were helping him?
Yeah, I think when I was really little, I wanted to be a baker, but I think it was more of a love of like clay and of dough
yes.
and something tactile in that way. And
So you cook every day. I mean, when you're done at work,
I basically, on my walk home from work, I
Yes.
start collecting my ingredients. I try to be experimental by using what I have and
Yeah.
find it, and it also sometimes can create more interesting dishes.
how did you learn how to cook? I mean, like,
When I was about probably 16, I had an aunt who loved to bake, and she presented me with Martha's first book. And I was
Yeah.
totally transfixed by this whole world that she was creating and an idea probably of a lifestyle that related to food and a way of life.
sure.
And tried to build her gingerbread mansion when I was
God.
little, the huge one with
Yeah,
the...
she's very serious about her baking, I have to say. But you had a very strong passion about designing.
Since I've been like 3 or 4, I always had sketch pads, and on family, on vacation, where I was sketching things that said like my knit collection on it, merchandising. And I always loved film and costume and theater. So I think that brought me into fashion. I've always loved how you could express a character and your being and personality through dress. So from a very early age, I would experiment in my dress.
And you were drawing and you were...
I had such bad ADD, they needed to like put a pad of paper down and give me pens or clay or material. And then I started sewing when I was about 6.
you like the process and...
I liked the concentrated, methodical.
Yeah, it's almost like meditation, right?
Absolutely. When I was 14, I made myself this really heinous fake fur caftan that would go to the ground that I would wear with a double zipper, so it basically could be like a cape if I wanted to, and it had black and white hair. And then my subway ride to school every day was a full discussion because I basically had the same repeat group of people in my subway car, and it became a dialogue, a daily fashion dialogue.
Let's start your dish.
Okay.
We have some lotus roots.
Yes.
And then those are Japanese eggplants.
Yeah.
Kabocha.
Kabocha.
C'est kabocha? Okay, kabocha.
No, kabocha, as you said.
Ah, I said it in French. So where do we start?
So I think most important is to start with the rice.
So the rice.
Yeah.
We put it here, and we're gonna cook it, I think, for quite some time, right?
Absolutely.
The lotus root takes quite some time too, right?
Yeah, you have to steam it to get it
steam
soft.
So I have a steamer,
Okay.
and we're gonna put it here.
Okay, amazing.
He had a strong desire to become a designer.
Yeah, they said get a summer job.
So where did you go?
We had a friend of a friend that knew Nicole Miller, and I was very young.
Yes.
But it was my introduction to sort of New York and 7th Avenue.
And she was already a big name.
Oh, it was a big 7th Avenue house. So yeah, I
So
started
with Nicole Miller, you learn what exactly?
Well, it was seeing the process of how a collection gets designed and built, and I was next to the studio where they made everything, and I interacted and assisted her design team, which was incredible, and I was sketching, and she was so generous and nurturing because basically at the end of the day she would go through them with me and give her feedback. At that time, my ideas were very out there, and I was like a little Soho downtown punk.
What does it translate into fashion?
Sort of out there, edgy ideas for the 7th Avenue house at the time.
Is it the right size?
Yeah, it's a little smaller than I do, but I think it's perfect.
So we put that inside?
Absolutely. And I think it's just to give it, to start softening it a little bit and bring out the
Yes.
flavor.
Going back to your career, I mean,
Yeah.
at one point you go to London and it's that for fashion.
Well, I moved to London when I was 17. I sort of started to explore this city and loving people and being inspired by new women that were coming into my life. I love London.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss it. Because it was the first place that I was totally independent.
So that inspire you ultimately when you, because for us, for instance, for chefs, we are inspired by our surroundings.
Absolutely.
Obviously, right? Does it translate into fashion as well?
Absolutely. I think what I found in London, London, I think, a big part of its fashion heritage and style is from nostalgia for the 20s and 30s.
So inspiration in the fashion world, in the culinary world, is key. If you want to create, you have to be inspired. After your internship, how did you really start to have your own name?
I was making clothing. I would make clothing for my sister, for my girlfriends. Sort of word of mouth started. One day, I had gone to a party with a friend of mine, and the New York Times called.
The New York Times called.
And said, we want to do a story about seeing this dress. When you're young and you get so much attention at such a young age, it creates a huge adrenaline rush. I mean, it's very empowering. I knew that opportunity was not a lengthy visitor. I went back to school, and the New York Times came out with this piece, and at the same time, I met the amazing supermodel, Naomi Campbell.
She has a beautiful
She is
body.
one of the greatest proportioned bodies out there. Women are something that are very personal to me, and finding the muses that come into my life are usually women that take me by surprise. She's sort of part of the history of fashion in a way. She becomes
Big time, yes.
part of the definition in a way of it.
So she supported you. And
She supported me, and then some retailers called. The fashion director of Barney's flew to my little basement apartment in London to see the work I was making. I was sewing t-shirts, selling them at small shops in London, and I took a girl from school who was in fashion communications and promotion, and would have her come to my house, and I sort of start to form this little team. There were retailers that came that wanted to partner with me. So I came back to Soho for a summer. At this point there was sort of some major press that had happened, and I was doing photo shoots. And at the same time, another store called Henry Bendel's. First a junior buyer, then the fashion director was coming. And they said, well, we want to buy this. But these were the things that were left over from London. I didn't have any funds. There was no way to buy the fabrics.
Yes.
And what we agreed upon was that on the order of the sketches, that they would basically help finance the production by paying for half of it before we delivered the goods.
that was good.
A very big risk for the store, very smart of my mom. We had no idea really what we were doing. We put the small collection together.
So you designed the collection.
We designed these like 10 styles and pieces. And then from there, we got a grant to do my first full collection. Rules exist and sort of settle to be broken. So as soon as something falls into place and I say that, then as a creator, it's your opportunity to know how to challenge those to keep it exciting, but also not break them too far so that people are scared to go on that journey with you.
I'll let you cut it.
Okay.
We're gonna bake them?
We're gonna bake
Right?
them.
Okay. So for you, the color or the architecture of the dish is important as much as the flavor?
I think so. I mean, I feel like maybe because I'm a fashion designer, I have a responsibility to make the dish that I make look good as much as I can.
So salt, pepper?
Salt, pepper, a little olive oil.
Yeah. And then that's gonna be broiled.
That's gonna be broiled.
Okay, so we're gonna put it in the oven?
Yes. I put it on a broiler and I have to keep an eye on it because sometimes, you know, what we're gonna do to that
goes
is
fast.
we make a slight reduction sauce.
So we're gonna start this one.
Exactly.
What do you need to reduce the orange juice?
I reduce the orange juice with the miso.
We have some red miso and orange juice right here.
It's always fun to discover new people's kitchens.
Isn't it?
I love it. Whenever you go into a friend's house and like before they're there early in the morning, it's my only voyeuristic thing is with kitchens. I like to like explore inside
And see what's going on.
everything.
I'm gonna keep an eye on the rice while you do that.
Absolutely. You can add a little sugar to that. I think we'll be okay today with the natural flavor. We're gonna keep it really healthy.
Yeah.
Why not?
You know, healthy is not really a problem for me. So you have your company for how long now?
I've had my company for about 11 and a half years, almost 12 years.
So you started super young.
Yeah.
So he's 32 years old. He has accomplished so much already. I mean, it's unbelievable. All the awards he won, and he's a genius in many ways.
I met the amazing editor of American Vogue, Anna Wintour, who was
supported you
incredibly
tremendously,
supportive,
yes.
and it was an amazing dialogue, and she gave incredible advice and a huge push.
But your day is divided in what? Part of the morning you design, or you are your own CEO?
No, I have a CEO.
You have a CEO,
I have
okay,
a
so you
CEO
don't have
and
to
I have an
deal with-
amazing president.
So you don't have to deal with that aspect too
No,
much.
but I have to always, it's important to always be aware. Oh, I think we're almost there.
You wanna see how it is?
I think it's good.
Good. So we are going to let it rest here for
Yeah,
the moment?
exactly.
Okay, good.
So now there's an interesting balance in my day. I'll have my design meetings in the morning.
Because you have a team who works
I have a
with
whole
you.
team and a whole company now.
Cooking, it's all about collaboration. So you have to create a team around you, and it's how you become consistent. And in the fashion industry, it's the same.
You know, I give my critique and guidance, but I drape. So I'm in my office I put my mood inspiration boards, which I can draw from.
So mood inspiration is on the wall, and that means...
And then they start sketching from there.
At Le Bernardin, we don't have a mood board, but we have boards where we write the ingredients of the season. The chefs that we believe are doing something meaningful and interesting. Every designer does that, or it's particular to yourself?
No, I think a lot of designers
Do that?
put these mood boards together, and then from there I take that, I choose my fabrics at the
Yes.
same time, and that helps tell a huge part of the story because to me, you know, for great fashion you need great fabrics.
You even did a dress with gold, right?
We just did a dress in 24 karat gold. You know, we took all different scale sequins, like
Yeah.
scales on a fish, and highlighted the body. Very heavy. I feel like a pirate when I'm holding this dress, and it just looks like I'm holding lots of coins attached to chiffon. I think we're pretty good. So at that point, we can brush that on top.
We have a brush.
Oh, perfect.
So you have the Zac Posen collection. Then you call fast...
Fast fashion. Fashion has changed.
Yes.
You know, it started as made for the woman, and then you get lifestyle brands, Ralph Lauren,
Yes.
and you start to get these sort of other ways of working in fashion. And so now you have fast fashion. It's like quick trend, immediate. And that's why with my collection, I've been even more reactive to try to create something that is high crafted, very high glamour, and that uses a lot of techniques from the past and how to recreate them for the future.
Do you have fun also doing fast fashion?
I have fun with both because
both.
fast fashion and trend is something more challenging to me because it's not as emotional building. When I'm building a gown and I'm on my mannequin and it's like a euphoric...
You have adrenaline
oh yeah, it's totally
flowing
euphoric.
when you're doing that.
No, it's an orgasmic experience, I'm
Really?
sure. Of course, when you're creating something and going and building it.
When you are putting the clothes on the model, it's one part of the process.
Yes. Some people sketch out collections.
Yes.
And then sort of say like, let's materialize that whole vision. For me, I start draping, my team starts sketching. They start
draping.
sketching
So draping
ideas.
is when you start to take the
I
fabric.
take fabric, if I want the line to go like that on a piece of clothing and hold up. I mean, in its basic form, that's where it starts. And maybe I have a pre-prepared texture or trim that I want to express into it. They take those drapings, they sketch off of it, they get inspired by it.
Yeah.
I get inspired by them. And then we pass them to the pattern makers in the studio. And at that point, that's where I think I've learned my strongest place in the process is. And I use tape to redraw the lines on the body so that they cut and lay in the same place. I use a crayon to mark out places where I want to take away lines. And I have extra fabric if I need to add volume or texture. That's what makes, a finished great garment from the idea of a garment.
Now, also being a famous designer like you are, you have to be visible. Social media play a big role, and
it's become a huge role.
You have a Facebook.
I have Facebook, and now I'm on Instagram.
Which is, and it's you.
It's me. Yeah, I love it. And it's like immediate fan and customer feedback, and I love having a creative dialogue.
Okay, I'm gonna bring the sea urchin.
Okay.
I have the sea urchin and
some
I brought some rosé. And my mom actually was in fashion.
Oh, really?
But she was a retailer.
Uh-huh.
And she represented Courrèges at the time.
Okay.
For the Spanish market. Okay, the glasses.
Absolutely.
I have the rosé.
It's a nice beginning of spring and summer.
Yes, I drink that all summer long. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
So we are going to plate. I'm gonna help you, or
no,
maybe
I would love to see how you. I want to watch you play it.
I was thinking to give maybe a shape to the rice.
So that's like when you're in restaurants and you see all like the layers that people do. They
Yes,
use the ring mold.
They use a ring mold. I think 1.5 spoons here is pretty good.
Yeah.
So we have the rice. Where do you put your tofu in a plate?
I usually put it to the side of the rice, or we can place it on top, or
maybe we can do something like that.
Okay.
I'm basically like designing here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to put the shiso
on the rice.
On the rice, okay. I'm just executing.
I know.
Your vision. So usually, where do you like to place them?
Well, I think I would probably place it in a juxtaposition to the rice and the tofu. So probably exactly.
Something
I mean, it's
like
so
that.
beautiful.
Presentation is very important. As chefs, we focus first on flavor, and then the presentation comes.
It's an experience.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Okay, we have the sea urchin.
I place it on the rice.
Yes. So we have everything we need?
Absolutely.
The dish looks good.
Yeah, it looks really beautiful.
Well, let's go eat.
Okay, amazing.
Well, cheers. Thank you so much for sharing your recipe and cooking with me, and now we're gonna eat. So let's enjoy.
Thank you.
The sea urchin goes really well with the rice, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first time I eat kabocha with the skin. I like the dish very much.
Thank you very much.
You have been on television a few times, so you're familiar with television.
Being on Project Runway was
Yes.
an amazing experience judging it. Instead of sort of being a comedian on the show, what ended up happening is I became very nurturing, something that got the best out of these designers.
Now that makes you very visible, and you are a celebrity. Is it a downside?
There's responsibility with it.
What kind of responsibility, for instance?
Well, I have to look good on the street. I have to look good on the street.
You're right.
And also to be a really good role model.
Zach is a celebrity designer. He's very well known and he gets recognized. It's nice to be recognized, and at the same time it's a burden.
It can be challenging, you have a loss of privacy, but I've been able to interact with so many different types of people around the world.
Well, listen, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And we are going to sign the wall,
Okay.
which is a tradition.
Fantastic. It's so beautiful.
It is.
You got my logo perfectly.
So let's go.
Okay.
Zach,
Wow.
this is in your honor.
Amazing.
The tradition is to sign it.
And then you analyze it?
No, we
Okay.
don't.
I'll sign right there on the dotted
Okay,
line.
go ahead, and I'll find a space for myself. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for coming. I love to come to your atelier, and you're very welcome to come to Le Bernardin.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So the dish that Zach today did is very personal to him. Obviously, he's very passionate about his food.
My anticipation in coming here today, I wanted to run through the meal to present flavors to somebody that has such a nuanced, connecting quality to his customers. You know, is pretty nervous making, but he was so generous.
Hello, I'm Eric Ripert, host of On the Table, only on the Reserve channel. If you like my show, hit the subscribe button below and hit the thumbs up if you like my show.
Pharrell Williams here.
Hi, I'm Joy Bryant,
I'm Eric Ripert,
I'm Tom Colicchio.
I'm Dr. Frank Lipman.
the host of On the Table.
the host of Across the Board.
Host of Artist Talk.
Host of Hooked Up.
Host of the show, Be Well Week, Be Well Weekend, on the Reserve channel.
It's only on Reserve.
Did you know that you can follow my show on social media sites like Facebook?
Follow us on Twitter.
If you're a fan of my show, hit the like button.
All of the above.
Share me with your friends.
Treat yourself. Check out a new episode of my show, Hooked Up.
And if you want to leave comments, feedbacks, ideas, whatever, love to hear from you. Leave a comment.
And if you don't want to miss the show, be sure to subscribe.
The one that's like down here, or is it here? Somewhere down here.
Thanks for watching the Reserve channel.
Only on YouTube. Throw caution to the wind and ask yourself what rules.